What is good, everyone? Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be getting brutally honest with you. I'm going to be talking about 6 things that foreign residents don't like to admit that they love about Japan. Let's get it. Before I get started, I have to give the usual reminder, which is if you end up enjoying this video, please hit that like button, because that is the thing that gets this content out to a much wider YouTube audience. And I appreciate every single like that I get for that reason. And even better yet, comment on the video. Let us know your opinion of what I talk about. Do you agree or disagree? Do you feel some of these yourself? And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I know that only about 9% of the people watching my videos are actually subscribed, so please subscribe. I put out a new video every single Friday about Japan, society, life, and culture, so if you subscribe, you're going to be kept up to date. Okay, with that out of the way, the reminder done, I have a quick caveat, which is I'm not making the claim that all foreign residents of Japan feel this way. I'm not even making the claim that the majority of foreign residents in Japan feel this way. I'm just saying that these are definitely phenomenon that exist, and I am guilty of some of these myself. Now, the first thing that foreign residents don't like to admit that they love about Japan is standing out, being more noticeable, even feeling a little famous at times. If you are a visibly foreign person, and I mean not fitting the Japanese image of what Japanese people normally look like, and I know that's not, a true observation anymore. There's plenty of people growing up in Japan who are fully Japanese, who maybe don't look like Japanese tend to think Japanese look. But let's be honest, 90% of the foreign looking people in Japan are going to be either tourists or residents who've moved from another country. So yeah, I mean, I have a YouTube channel, so obviously I'm not so worried about standing out or having my face out in public. And I feel like if you are the type of person who does not like to stand out, who does not feel comfortable being noticed just by being out and about, you're probably not going to have a great time in Japan if you are a visibly foreign person. I feel like the people who have ended up staying here over the long term are the people who don't mind it or even, enjoy it. The second thing that foreign residents don't like to admit that they love about Japan is we enjoy being able to shock and impress other people out of the blue. And I mean that for Japanese people and our friends and family back home. It's fun to shock Japanese people when you pull out perfect Japanese for a situation, or that you show you can function correctly in this particular social environment. And let's be honest, because most foreigners in Japan, or foreign looking people again, are tourists, and there's not a huge expectation that Japanese have that foreigners are going to know how to speak Japanese, you can really surprise them when you can actually show that you can function as a member of society. And I will admit myself, it feels good inside when it's like, aha, I got to show that a foreigner can actually do this. A foreigner does actually know how to speak Japanese in this situation. On the flip side, for friends and family back in the States, it's fun to sort of shock them with just general things that you've come to appreciate about Japan that are really weird for Americans or Europeans or whatever that might be. So whether it's posting photos on Instagram or Facebook talking about how you ate an eye of a tuna last night, or the raw horse meat you ate yesterday was excellent, and they're like, oh my god, raw horse. It's fun to do that, let's be honest. Another thing I like to do when I get visitors, like friends or family from the States, I usually like to pile them into the car and take them somewhere. And I deliberately choose the most narrow roads possible. So Americans especially, who are used to wide open roads, are on this white knuckle ride through town and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is a two-way road. So I admit I get a kick out of those things, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. The third thing that foreign residents don't like to admit that they love about Japan, I have to talk about it. It's the elephant in the room, and that is Japanese women. Japanese ladies. The number of foreign guys who come here and end up with a Japanese girlfriend and then fiance and then wife, it's pretty common. And this really sort of solidified in my own brain with a conference that I went to several years ago with my colleague who's from Australia. And we were at the conferences. This was a linguistics and education conference. And my colleague leaned over to me during the opening ceremony speech and said, take a look around the room. In Australia, probably 70%, maybe even 80% of the teaching professionals in the room would be female. They'd be women. In this conference, you looked around, it was exactly the opposite. Easily 90% of the foreigners in the crowd were male. And again, they've come to Japan. I don't know what the numbers might be, like if we compare language teachers who come to Japan, how many are female and how many are male when they first come. But in terms of the numbers of people who stay in Japan for the long term, it is decidedly male. And of course, I have to include myself into this mix. Although if I'm being honest, I really wasn't into Asian women in general when I lived in the States. If you looked at my dating history, you would have seen blonde, 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 blonde. You would have thought I had a thing for blondes. Not really. I think it was more just having grown up in Wisconsin and gone to school in Minnesota, where the concentration of people who are blonde is just higher. But, you know, I moved to Japan and 99% of the women here are Japanese. So obviously I adjusted, and now I really appreciate Japanese women. So, okay, with the elephant in the room out of the way, had to be mentioned, I'm going to go into number 4 of things that foreign residents secretly love about Japan. And that is, we get to play the expert on a country that has frankly become a very popular destination, at least before the pandemic. And through Japanese soft power, you know, the exports of things like anime and idols and martial arts and everything else that comes out of Japan that people abroad love, Japan is a popular place. Japan is a lovely, Japan is a place that a lot of people want to visit if they haven't already, or want to come back, even if they have been here once. And it's fun to play the expert. Like, I'm a member of a Facebook group, and it's mostly people who have been to Japan once or have never been to Japan. It's kind of like a Japan appreciation group. And it's fun to be one of the few residents on there who kind of comes into the conversations and says, well, actually in Japan, it's really like this. Or if you come to Japan, you'll notice blah, 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 blah. And I made an entire YouTube channel out of this thing, right? Maybe it's my instinct to be a teacher. I don't know, but I do get a warm, fuzzy feeling getting to be the expert on what is honestly a very cool place in the world to live. All right, the 5th thing that foreign residents in Japan don't like to admit they love about Japan is one that I'm of two minds about. For the most part, I don't care for this one, but there are situations where I do appreciate it. And that is the seemingly infinite patience of Japanese people to help the clueless foreigner through a situation, whether it's a social situation or it's a paperwork situation at your work or something like that. Japanese staff, Japanese people in general seem to really be if not happy to do it, patient enough to help the clueless foreigner through it. And I don't like this, to be honest, from the standpoint that I don't like to feel dumb. I want to learn how to do something. I want to be able to demonstrate that I'm a fully functioning member of society. I don't want to have to be babied through any particular situation. And I'm not saying that the Japanese are condescending when they do this. They're not, at least not openly. But yeah, I don't want to feel like I can't function in a certain situation or not. That being said, there are situations that do happen where I do appreciate it myself. One of those situations just passed, which was I filed my taxes last month. And yeah, I mean, my Japanese isn't that bad, but I'm not exactly up on the language needed to fill out tax forms. That's still beyond me. And my taxes are complicated enough that I go to the ward office and someone walks me through it. I've done it enough times now that I could probably try to do it by myself. But since currently I'm in a situation where I get a refund, I don't want to risk screwing anything up so that I don't get that refund, or I only get half of what I'm supposed to get or something like that. Okay, the sixth and final thing that foreign residents don't like to admit that they love about Japan is the kind of special feeling you get knowing that you have done something not very easy in your life path, which is to go out, leave your home country, travel to a place far away, to a culture and a language that aren't that easy, and certainly very different than probably where you came from. And you've done it. You've accomplished it. You've carved out a life. You've created a space for yourself. You've learned the language. You've learned how to act and be a part of society. And that feeling of accomplishment is definitely something that you can take pride in. I take pride in it to a certain extent. I know it's not always a good thing to be seen as prideful, but I feel where genuine pridefulness would come into it would be if you thought you were unique in some way. And while I think it's true that we do have a right to feel kind of special for having moved abroad and learned to function in a new society, I mean, I have a really strong appreciation for immigrants everywhere now, considering I've become one myself, because it's not easy to move to a foreign country. This is not a Japan-specific thing, obviously. Immigrants to any country have to go through this, the learning of the language, the fitting in with the culture. So, not Japan-specific, which is why you shouldn't feel unique. To feel like you were unique, like I'm the one who managed to do this and I'm really special because I'm unique, no, that would be getting into the prideful territory. I feel though that you can feel like you're special. So you're special, you're not unique. Okay, let me know what you think. Are you living abroad and you feel any of these things yourself? Do you disagree with any of these? Let us know in the comments below. It's a lot more fun for me doing this channel when people comment and join in the conversation. And I'm still a small channel, so I can, basically react and write a reply to pretty much everyone. So join the conversation. If you've made it this far in the video and you haven't hit the like button, do that right now. And subscribe if you would. I really appreciate all of my subscribers, and I hope that you will join them if you have not. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next week, Friday. Peace.